Now it's time for Open House, sponsored by Pyramid Heating and Cooling.
You know, there are many different ways to create energy efficiency in your home. And today we're going to talk about maybe a way to get rid of a couple loads of laundry a week, all while having a better shower experience. Harris Wattles, Amba Products, welcome to Around the House Northwest, my friend.
Thanks, Eric. Great to be here. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I love working with you guys because, you know, a few months ago, I installed one of your heated towel racks in my house. Super easy, and it changed the world of showering. And I wanted to talk a little bit about it today because it's also saving me money.
Yeah, it really does. It's a very small part of your whole bathing routine. The very end part of getting out of the shower, the bath, drying yourself off, that often goes overlooked and neglected, if you want to call it that. But we offer a product that really kind of puts it front and center and is kind of that cherry on top of having a very nice bathing experience from start to finish. It really is a great product.
You know, if anybody's ever done any time in a hospital or had a surgery and they give you that heated blanket, you know, and it's like, oh, it's that little bit of chill when you're not feeling well. I tell you what, jumping out of a shower, you've left that warm space into maybe a little cooler space because you're outside of the shower enclosure.
Yep.
Grabbing something warm that smells fresh is just something that is underrated. It's kind of like heated seats in your car. Until you don't have them, you don't know what you're missing.
Oh, it's the perfect analogy. It's, you know, people, when I talk about these, they've never experienced them. They're like, well, I've lived, you know, my whole life without it. You know, how great can it really be? And then they experience it one way or another, whether they are at a very fancy hotel, traveling overseas or something where they experience one. And then the question is, how have I lived my whole life and not had this? And it really is a product that can really change I won't say change your life, but it really has a big impact on your bathing routine, your bathing experience. And most people see it as the luxury product that provides the nice warm towel, but to me it's a lot more than that. That's just a very small aspect of it. And it's getting out of the shower or the bath, and every time your towel is dry, it smells fresh and clean. It does not have that musty, funky odor, which is it's gross, but it also is a health and wellness thing. You know, it gives you that sanitary environment of getting out of the bath with a clean towel instead of the musty towel. And there's also the energy efficiency of this product. They consume on average the equivalent of 2 to 3 light bulbs worth of electricity. You know, so most people don't think to switch off lights in all the rooms when they're not using them. They leave lights on pretty much all day until they go to bed. So leaving your towel warmer on, most people won't even think twice about it. For the people who are more energy conscious, programmable timers are even more perfect for that, because it kind of even further enhances that energy efficiency of the product, only using it for maybe 2 to 4 hours a day when they're doing their bathing cycle. And so by using these towel warmers and their energy efficiency, you reduce how frequently you have to wash your towels because they don't get that musty smell. And so maybe you were washing a load of towels every week. You can now probably go maybe having to wash a load every other week, because you can use a towel for an entire week, maybe 10 days. Maybe you could stretch it to 14 days if you really, you know, are trying to push the limits there, because you're clean when you get out of the shower. You're just absorbing moisture off the body.
You know, you're so right, Harris. And the thing is that you think about it, you're heating water, right? Because most people will do a hot load on those towels when they hit towels on their machine and they just run through. It's not like the cold water commercials, you know, people most of the time do that. And so you're using the hot water. You've got that hour-long cycle on the washer, the hour-long cycle on the dryer. There's a lot of energy being used right there, which includes water and electricity.
Yeah. And then on top of that, which, I mean, sure, that's a cost in itself, but for me, time. You can never get time back. You can find more money. You can, you know, work harder, you know, do something to create more money, but you can never get your time back. And you know, I think that's also that one factor that you can't really put a price on, if you will. You know, because for me, my laundry stays in my dryer until either there's another load that has to be dried, or I'm out of clothes in my drawer, and so I have to go pull, you know, clean clothes from the dryer. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that can relate to that and not liking to fold laundry because it takes time and it's tedious, and that's time you can never get back. So if you can reduce how often you have to do that, I think if you put it in those terms, you get a lot more people who are being willing to say, yeah, I don't like folding laundry. I don't like wasting that time doing something where I could be doing something more enjoyable. And all I have to do is put in this towel warmer. Sold. No questions.
That makes sense. And one of the things I like about what you guys have done is the ease of installation. I was going to shoot a 10-minute installation video, but darn it, you guys made this too easy to make it 10 minutes because there wasn't 10 minutes of content to putting 4 screws in the wall and hooking up the electrical.
Yeah.
And that's the hard one to install.
Yeah. That you had one of the harder ones to install. So it really is a pretty simple install from a product standpoint. You've got your 4 mounting points that each unit is secured to the wall with, and then you've got your electrical connection. And maybe some people put a separate timer to it. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. 1 electrical connection and 4 mounting points.
It's great. And then in my bathroom, I did a heated tile floor, so it was really smart to do that. But one of the disadvantages of that is you can't put your traditional bath mat down to maybe soak up the water when you step out of the shower. So I have a second towel on there that I use it's the very last rung of that I kind of use at the very bottom to make sure I wipe up the floor. So when my wife walks in to take her shower later, or I'm following up after her, I've got a dry floor to deal with, and I don't have water sitting there for 20, 30 minutes.
Yep.
But man, it dries right away, and I don't have to worry about that as well.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, they'll dry. I would say a towel that you use to dry yourself off after a shower, it's probably dried out in, depending on the humidity in the bathroom, about 30 minutes, I'd say. If it's a very damp, very wet towel, it might be closer to 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how thick it is and plush. But it typically dries it out for the most part in about 30 minutes. So it's pretty quick. You can, for the people who are trying to really maximize their efficiency, minimizing energy consumption, we generally recommend, say you're showering at about 7 o'clock in the morning. You can have your towel warmer turn on somewhere between 6 and 6:30, and then have it shut off about 9 o'clock. That gives you about a 2.5 to 3 hour window of energy use at 150 watts. That's 300 to 450 watts of energy consumption. I mean, which is going to be pennies on the dollar of from a cost standpoint, a user.
So for a couple steak dinners at your favorite luxury steakhouse for you and your significant other, you can have luxury for years to come.
Yeah, exactly. Forego 1 or 2 nice steak dinners and get yourself something that's going to give you a lifetime of enjoyment back.
Absolutely. So Harris, how do people track these things down? If somebody's like, okay, I got to add this to my life, where do they find you guys?
So you can find us online. Website is www.ambaproducts.com. We've got social on Instagram and Facebook where we like to put a lot of lifestyle pictures and latest trends and new products that we've got coming out. And when the time is right to buy one, we sell through kitchen and bath showrooms. So you can find a local kitchen and bath dealer in your market, as well as online retailers that everybody is familiar with. So there's a where to buy section on our website. Just take a click on there, put in your zip code or your city and state, and it'll pop up a whole list of local retailers that we work with, in your vicinity.
Harris, thanks for coming on today, man. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure, Eric. Thanks so much for having me.